Hello and a very warm welcome to yet another brand new episode of your very own show Colors of India. I'm your host Tina Jha. So without wasting any time, let's begin with a look at the highlights first. This week we take you to a festival showcasing intricate craftsmanship and talent of award-winning artisans from across the country. Followed by some brilliant classic moves and finally the Lohri celebrations. Acting on the clarion of the much talented but unheard voices of our craftspeople from all over India, Dastkar is back once again with its craft bazaar, providing a fair podium to these craft magicians to exhibit their skills. Take a look.
Billy Hart. The omnipresent crafts village was yet again thriving with exquisite craftsmanship as it played host to the 29th annual Dastkari Hath Craft Bazaar. This time, the bazaar focused on the skill exchange between Indian and Tibetan artisans. Giving both an opportunity to bond and share their culture.
I've been working for 45 years with craftspeople, and the more I see them, the more I feel there's so much potential, so much variety, and we like ways of feeling proud of our country. And I think this is one of the most beautiful and most talented sector of our country, and I think also the most neglected. We take it too much for granted. Sometimes we see fan makers who make lovely bamboo fans just sitting on the pavement. We don't even give them a place to sit. And our whole tradition has been to do handwork, and we have to give it a certain dignity and respect. So my whole idea is to gather them, and I get inspired by their work, and they also feel inspired when we give them new ideas and platforms and opportunities.
The special feature every year are the open workshops demonstrating the laborious work that goes behind in the making of products. This opportunity brought buyers closer to their ethnicity.
It's very nice that people get to learn how crafts are done, what is the importance of it, how much hard work goes into it. Because even we came across a lot of people who are coming here and they want to bargain and buy things in spite of the fact that they should not do that, because there's so much hard work that goes into it. People are doing it day and night, they don't earn accordingly, and this is one medium of showing them how work is actually done and how much hard work it goes into it, so they'll understand the value of the money from this.
India being a vast country, it has a huge potential in craft, and we ourselves need to realize, rather than buying plastic goods and imported goods from outside, use Indian made stuff which has more value attached, and it's made by hand. So by a handmade product has more value attached to it.
Assam is famous for its Monga silk. One of the unique skills being exhibited was the extraction of silk fibers from cocoons. Dipping the cocoons in hot water makes the outer shell moist and loose. To attain the fiber, one needs to keep pulling at them till a single and perfect line of fiber is achieved. The silk thus attained is known for its glossy texture. It takes more than just handful of cocoons to make one sari, but the final product would be a prized possession in any woman's wardrobe.
मूंगा सिल्क ऐसा होता है, वो नेचुरल है, वो जो धागा देगा नेचुरल, उसका स्मोक और उसका जो लास्टिंग वो 50 ईयर्स चलता है. इसका जो स्मोक है ना, वो जितना पुराना होगा इतना ही ज़्यादा चमकता है, और जितना अच्छा होता है, नरम होता है, पहनने में यूज़फुल बहुत है, कंफर्टेबल.
Arunachal Pradesh has a rich tradition of bamboo handicrafts. Working with bamboo requires precision in peeling fine strips using small but sharp tools. Bringing many such strips together, the artisan weaves them to get the desired shape. Be it lamps, unique decorative items, or mats, bamboo craftsmanship stands out.
हमारा वहाँ तो डेली यूज़ है, ये बेम्बू है। हम तो बेम्बू से घर बनाते हैं, बेम्बू सूत, बेम्बू को हम खाते भी हैं। बेम्बू से हम लोग जो ये है लोन बनाते हैं, घर बनाते हैं, बहुत कुछ बेम्बू से हम लोग खाना भी पकाते हैं, खाते भी बेम्बू से, पीते भी बेम्बू से। तो ये तो बेम्बू तो हमारा डेली यूज़ है।
Painters from Odisha, Madhya Pradesh and Tibet worked together, demonstrating their native traditional work on unfamiliar canvases, thus giving art a facelift. Odisha's Patachitra and Madhya Pradesh's Gond style of painting are adopted to decorate cookie jars. Working on different motifs, here art is used to turn an everyday item into something special. Thanka painting of Tibet is a style that is done on cotton. Usually depicting Buddhist themes, but here we see the style being adopted on wood.
Collaborating with the Tibetan artisans, one can clearly see the deep-rooted similarities between both the cultures. And the idea to promote the selling of these craft works indigenously is a wonderful way to boost the worth of these craftsmen in their home ground. With that, time for us to slip into a very short break. There's much more lined up for you on the other side. Do stay with us. After the break, we get you some masterpieces from the painting exhibition Confluence held at the India Habitat Centre. So don't go away. Welcome back after the break. Hindu mythology says dance was conceived by the creator Brahma. And this was at a time when there were no auditoriums, no halls, no theatres as we know them today. So in our next performance, we present to you age-old dance forms as enjoyed in the current day. Take a look. Every expression raises a mood, a flavor. India's classical dances down thousands of centuries have been a medium that bring out a rich cultural history. In this Bharatnatyam performance, Abdul Khalid conveys a praise of Lord Ram. This particular piece is titled Todya Mangalam. Abdul learned the Bharatnatyam from Padma Vibhushan Dr. Sonal Mansingh.
Bharatanatyam is the oldest classical dance of India. It nurtured in the temple of Tanjavur, particularly in Tanjavur in Tamil Nadu, and it is the oldest classical dance of our India. The second dance is Kuchipudi, which is very lyrical, graceful, and it is little entertaining.
Abdul is also a proponent of the Kuchipudi style. Khalid says his skill in the Kuchipudi comes from his gurus, legends, Dr. Raja Radha and Kaushalya Reddy.
Indian classical dance teaches you is a whole journey into the mythology, aesthetics, sculpture, poetry, a certain way of life, which is an Indian way of life. And that is what you learn by learning Indian classical dances.
Up next, the Kalinga Narthanam. Here, Lord Krishna is portrayed as a 5-year-old dancing with his left foot on the serpent's head and his right leg in the air. And the finale, Tarangam, a unique dance of the Kuchipudi style. The plate is made of brass. Notice the perfect balancing of the body that showcases its grace and brilliance. Classical dance in India has developed into a type of dance drama, which is a form of theatre. The dancer acts out through gestures, enacting stories from the Hindu mythology. And this in turn helps us get familiar with our diverse culture. And just like dance, painting too is a mode of creative expression with numerous forms. The painting exhibition titled Confluence at the India Habitat Centre provided a deep insight into the history of artistic expression. Take a look. A work of art is created purely to put a form to one's inner emotions. A combination of bold strokes and vibrant colors create a symphony of beauty and love. The artworks of Kishore Roy and Deepa Ved Pathak exhibited the distinctive style and appeal with the quality of mesmerizing the viewer.
मेरा पेंटिंग है लव एंड ब्यूटी एंड रासलीला ऑफ कृष्णा। हम लोग सारे दुनिया आज पीस के पीछे भाग रहे हैं, तो मेरा एक पीस प्रोसेस है। एक जब कोई मेरा पेंटिंग देखेगा, एक अलग से अंदर से एक सुकून महसूस करेगा।
The paintings of Kishore Roy are based on the theme of Ras Leela, portraying the love of Radha and Lord Krishna. The charmer and the charmed together create an atmosphere which gives us a feeling of hypnotic enchantment. Kishore's pictures convey the message of love and peace with a twist of imagination.
मैंने यहाँ 2 कलाकारों की आर्ट मैंने देखी. It is really fascinating and its colors are exotic and fantastic presentation of art. The originality.
The other half of the exhibition displayed the works of Deepa Ved Pathak, where one can see her love for music. The subjects, the moods, the composition, the color schemes, the brush strokes. All together evoke a subconscious image of a concert being performed. For Deepa, music and love are the 2 elements that describe her in and out through the colors on canvas. The artworks by Kishore and Deepa are something that cannot be explained but need to be experienced. The detailing and accuracy was something to watch out for. On that note, time for us to slip into another short break. We'll be right back. Coming up after the break, the bonfires, the drum beats at the Lohri celebrations. Do stay with us. Welcome back after the break. A new year, gives us the chance to experience everything afresh. And this week brought back the much needed pleasant warmth of Lohri. So let's go over to my colleague Shubhra for the Lohri celebrations.
Hello and welcome to Food Trail with me, Shubhra Mukherjee. Come January, Lohri is the first festival that greets us. So this brings me to Gurgaon's epicenter, where I'm going to be a part of some amazing music, be among amazing people, and of course indulge into some authentic Punjabi delicacies. So come and join me. The sheer glow and warmth of the bonfire and the twinkle of lights in the evening welcomed the many enthused to celebrate Lohri with all their heart. As Gurgaon's epicenter geared up to provide a true blue taste of Lohri, their idea of a grand brew of folk music and good food seemed to suit the liking of many. The rising of such community initiatives aiming to celebrate every culture and festival has allowed people more flexibility and opportunity to involve and participate.
We celebrate all the festivals all year round to bring the whole community together. Children who are born and brought up in this age hardly know the festivals. They are more inclined to the mall culture, they are to the cinemas, and they are to the movie theaters. So when we celebrate events like this, we inculcate that family bonding, we inculcate that traditional bonding of being together with your maybe family or neighbors or particular society. So that was the whole idea.
Lohri is the much-awaited festival for the North Indians, especially Punjabis. It marks the end of the winter season and is celebrated on the winter solstice day. Thus, the bonfire is prepared to worship the sun god and to welcome the warmer and longer days. And to do so, the tadka of singing and dancing is traditional. Satnam Shakra and Sargam Sehnuja gave the people all the reasons to shake a leg and also newer meanings to celebrate Lohri.
लोहड़ी मेरे लिए एक एंजॉय करने का दिन है, डांस करने का दिन है, मस्ती करने का दिन है, खाना पीना, मिलना जुलना, अच्छे अच्छे कपड़े पहनना और एक दूसरे के साथ एक नया साल स्टार्ट करने का एक बहुत अच्छा तरीका है.
लोहड़ी for me is a celebration on absolute winter with bonfire. I like that with popcorn and मूंगफली, having that revdi, gajak. I love that area. Bonfire is the best thing.
Food is integral to all our festivals, and considering it is the time of Lohri, Punjabi cuisine is something to look forward to. As Lohri is also associated with the harvest of crops like rabi and sugarcane as the first produce of the year, food during Lohri is a mixture that offers the best seasonal variety.
Lohri is basically a harvest season when the farmers have just cut the crops and all the crops are ready with them, and now just the new year has become and they have new food to eat now. The new crop has been cut and they have the new vegetables, be it a grain or the vegetables are there with them. So they thought of celebrating this event as a Lohri and plus the food.
With an amazing ambience to dine in, I began my ode to taste some good old-fashioned authentic Punjabi recipes. And the way I see it, the menu made a vegetarian and non-vegetarian both. Very happy. So to nibble on, there was the Amritsari Machi, onion rings or pyaz ke pakode, and chicken popcorn.
Very tasty indeed. And as far as the chicken popcorn is concerned, Lodi obviously is about gajak and peanut and the very famous popcorn. So people love to consume these particular items during Lodi. So the chef has been inspired by the popcorn phenomena and has created chicken popcorn for the non-vegetarian people.
Food during Lodi is all about the fresh harvest. Thus, the sarson ka saag and makke ki roti is a must, a dish that is fit to be the preamble of Punjabi cuisine. Pulses prepared in the traditional way are also among the favorite dishes. And finally, Punjabi cuisine is only complete with the inclusion of chicken or mutton. Thus, dishes like keema chakundari with beetroot and dhabe ka kukkar were there to grace the taste buds.
Now when we talk about Lodi, it is predominantly a Punjabi festival. So no Punjabi festival goes without the mention of sarson ka saag and makke ki roti. And over here I've been served with the same delicacy. And I must say, this particular preparation of sarson ka saag is very nice, really very smooth. I get the raw flavor of sarson itself. Superb. Non-vegetarian dishes as well, which is a chicken dhaba style preparation. Really very tasty, very buttery, overpowering flavors. Very nice.
Sugarcane is an important produce during the month of January. So what could have been a more apt ending than a seasonal dessert, the ganne ki kheer?
No festival is actually complete without the mention of a sweet dish. And when it comes to Lodi, sugarcane is an important harvest of the season. So over here I have been served a sugarcane kheer, ganne ka kheer. And I must say, this particular kheer has the texture and the right amount of creaminess of a kheer. And I must say, the flavor of sugarcane is really very nice, very mild. But then all in all, a very nice way to end my food trail. Well, as I am heading back to my sweet dish and actually listening to more of that amazing music, until the next time, it's over to you, Tina.
Lodi is that festival which sets the mood for the coming joys in the year ahead. So with the hope that you have a pleasant year ahead, it's time for me to wrap up this episode of Colors of India. Do tune in same time next week for another brand new episode. But until then, take very good care and stay happy.